Welcome back. Welcome back to the Kovacs Report. It's Wednesday, and we are going to kick off the reviews this week with Batman in Detective Comics 1103 with Tom Taylor and Mikel Janín putting together a pretty interesting story. This is part 3 of The Courage That Kills. We're going to go through it page by page, of course, which means there will be spoilers. Like the video if you can, and please do hit subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it. Okay, so a very quick catch up. There is this toxin which removes fear. It can eventually kill you. And Batman's been tracking down the source, tracking down the bad guy behind it, and he's found this new villain called the Lion. Okay, he's a bit of a gambler. He likes experimenting with, chemicals, and he's got some bad feelings towards Gotham and everyone else. So he's been releasing this virus here and there on certain individuals, and Batman has been infected by it. It's 24 hours before basically it takes over, and he becomes basically a fearless killer of some kind, maybe possibly die. It's not good. It's not good. So he's investigating, and he tracked the Lion back to his little mountain lair, which has been destroyed, but he has uncovered a plot to release this in Gotham or do something with this toxin, which isn't very good. Now, that's where we are. Now, he's jumped in his Batplane. He's passed out. It's not looking good because the clock is ticking. Now, we jump to Metropolis with this issue, and we see Superman fighting some armoured thugs. They're from Intergang, up to no good, no doubt. And she gets or rather, he gets a little buzz from Oracle and says, listen, I need your help, Superman. I need you to intercept Batman. He is in trouble. So Superman very quickly makes short work of these Intergang dudes, leaves them in a steaming pile on the floor, flies off to intercept the Batplane. Now, he pulls it off at risk to being hurt, of course, because, all the little booby traps and countermeasures are deployed. Oracle fills him in, but of course, this is his buddy, right? So he's going to do whatever it takes, pulls it out. And Brucey boy, well, he comes to. He comes out of this sort of blackout that he was forced into. So what's happening here? But he wants to scan him and check him he's okay. So he says, take off the mask. And I like this. I really like this. And it's really subtle. It says, take off the mask. I can't scan you while you're wearing it. So it says Bruce, always thinks of everything. He's got those sort of countermeasures so Superman can't mess with him a little bit. And we know he does this anyway, but adding it in here just reinforces, how much Batman thinks of everything. And I like that. Now, Superman says, you need to get to bed, but Batman fills him in. And Batman already knows what's wrong with him. In the 30-odd seconds that he's been conscious, he's already run all the scans he needs to run. He knows exactly where his body is and what's hurting and what's broken. It's really, really funny. I like this. Anyway, he says, listen, guys. Listen, Soups, I need your help, okay? I need you to get to Metropolis because I need to speak to someone. He goes, who do you need to speak to? And of course, it's Lois Lane. There we go. So this is kind of like The Brave and the Bold. It's a bit of a team-up book. I think this arc has been a bit of a team-up. I'm sure we're going to get other characters in the next issue too. I mean, last arc we had a team-up with Mr. Terrific, and that's fun, introducing new characters. I'd probably want a bit more of Batman. A bit more of Gotham and Batman getting into his sort of world. But this is really cool. The art's as lovely as you'd expect. So they have a little chit-chat. Okay, and he reveals that they are manufacturing. There's a manufacturing plant in the mountain base in Kansas. He wants Superman to fly back there and see if there's something buried that points to what the Lion has planned for Gotham. So Supes gets flying off, and then he needs Lewis's help. He's like, I keep a car in the city. Of course, it's a Batmobile. It looks like the older, more classic Batmobile. I think it is. It does. It reminds me of one of the past Batmobiles. I forget which one. You astute Bat fans out there go, oh, it's this one from the cartoon, or it's this one from this arc. But anyway, they're in the Batmobile, and there's 22 hours left until Batman needs to be quarantined until he basically loses it. And he informs her of what's going on. He says, you have written several stories about rogue experimentation at Star Labs. 3 dangerous projects have been shut down after your reporting. I found an equipment manifest in Tasnia with a Star Labs masthead. She says, Bruce, what are you asking me for? He says, you have contacts at the labs. So he wants her to go to Star Labs to find out what's going on. Okay? Now, she agrees, of course, because she's Lois Lane. And there's this funny moment here where he wants to sort of go in, batarangs blazing, which she's like, hey, chill. Let me do my thing. You've asked me for my help. Let me do my thing. This whole issue is pretty much a love letter to Lois Lane, showing how intuitive and ingenuitive she is, if I've got that right. It's okay. I mean, again, I'll let you read the funny little jokes. But she goes in. and explains that she has a way with people. They always sort of do what she wants because she knows how to get what she wants from these people because she's Lois Lane. Now, she meets this lady here who is who's not so happy to see her, Dr. Lee, okay? And she wants information, but Batman couldn't just wait. So he pops out of nowhere and scares the hell out of her, and Lewis sends him out of the room like a naughty boy. And then we have this conversation. To Dr. Lee, she says, I believe there may have been a program running out of Star Labs, something to do with fear suppression. Since hearing of this, I've put a few things together. 3 seemingly unconnected deaths now have a possible connection. She says, 2 months ago, the Planet reported on the death of a Dr. Peter Norwood, okay, Carlo Rodriguez and Dr. Janet Lewis. And it all explains that they died very mysteriously. And, you know, without fear. They were doing things they normally wouldn't do, like speeding or trying to swim through the Metropolis Harbour or skydiving when they are scared of heights. Obviously, this fear toxin has been administered to them, getting them out of the way. So there's someone's cleaning up all the loose ends here. And Lewis says, these people worked together here, didn't they? Which is, yes, it was called Project Courage, which is a little nod to the title of the story here. If we jump back, the courage that kills, because that's exactly what happens. It suppresses the fear, and these people end up doing things they wouldn't normally do, and they end up dead. But she says, listen, this project was shut down, but there is one person left alive, and his name is Daniel Toomey, and he's a researcher, and he worked remotely because he was agoraphobic, so he never left his apartment. So they turn up to investigate, and the door's open, which is strange for an agoraphobic because they would fear someone coming in or them having to go out. So they put their masks on because they realise that the fear toxin potentially has been used in there, and Bat goes to work, does a little detective thing, and realises there's something wrong with the situation. Judging by the indentations in the floor, he realises that Intergang are actually there, and it looks like they're trying to kidnap him. Now, Bats goes in, saves Lois Lane, of course, and then he dismembers. He doesn't dismember them, right? He shuts their suits down because he's got these little devices which can do localized EMP, and then they become too heavy to work because it's alien technology. They're very, very heavy. So Intergang, they've been put on the floor pretty much, and then Batsy here has a chat with Toomey, but Toomey doesn't look like he wants to talk and pulls a gun on him, and then he realizes this wasn't a robbery. Toomey is working with Intergang, and he didn't see it because he wasn't looking for it. And he realizes that, Toomey here is a little overconfident, and he leaps out the window believing he can make the jump to the next building. And Batman follows suit straight through. Very, very dangerous. They crash through the window of the other building. I love this scene, actually. It's so cool. I love how Batman just, reacts instantly and he doesn't think. But this is one of those things. He does say, you know what? There were various other ways I could have done this that were a lot less reckless, a lot less painful. But why did he do it? Well, because that fear toxin started to take over. It's making him take risks that he probably wouldn't take, because it's removing his fear. So they have a conversation with this chap. Bat says, you were supplying something to Intergang. This is why they've been attacking so brazenly, obviously. But they're not infected with the virus, ? And he says, no, it's a controlled dose, short-acting. We named it Fortis. The viral version was deemed too aggressive and too transmissible. So basically what it is that if you put very small doses of this, you've got fearless soldiers if it's administered in the right dosage and correctly. Okay, so they've been experimented with this virus thing, this courage, this Project Courage, and they've been working out all sorts of things, how to deliver it, the longevity, the efficacy of it, and he says it's really helped him a lot because you can see he's very overconfident for an agoraphobic, right? So it gets a little bit more interesting. He also says to Batman, he says, this is going to go contagious in 2 days after your initial dose. And Bat's like, I know. Anyway, he does get a little clue. So the private investigator behind Project Courage provided files that suggested there was a cure. He didn't share it with us, though. And we never met him face to face or even saw him. So Oracle gets buzzed as well because Bat's found another clue. He said, there's a component here I recognise. It's specific. I've only seen it in one source before. And he says, I need entry to Arkham Towers. I need to speak to Jonathan Crane because Jonathan Crane would be the man to ask because he is the person that would know about this little specific thing, this little component that Batman has found. But there's a problem. There's a problem because Batgirl informs him that there is a guard dead at the Arkham Tower. And Mr. Fear himself, the Scarecrow, has been kidnapped by the Lion. And here we have him, face to face. They've put him up on one of those little wooden Scarecrow posts you find out in the field. Quite fitting. He says, do you recognise me? He goes, yes, you've changed, but yes, I know who you are. So these two know each other. I don't know how. I'm sure we'll find out. And he says, what are you doing? He says, I can't believe I was ever afraid of you. You look so stupid. And thinking of you hand-stitching this thing. Did you watch a tutorial online? Did you use some kind of template to cut out the burlap bag? He says, what do you want? He says, I have what I want. You, the Batman. I am conquering my fears. And I can make it so you're not afraid. But I want you to dread this. So he has some kind of history with the Scarecrow, or maybe the Scarecrow did something when he was a child. Usually one of those things, right? So when he was a kid, he got terrified. He swore he'd get revenge. I don't know. Maybe there's something else. But they definitely know each other. That's for sure. And this is all part of his plan. Now, we've got 19 hours left until Batsy needs to be quarantined. But Batsy's not going to give up. You know he's not going to give up. But Lois, because she's quite smart too. She's the greatest investigative journalist, according to Batsy here, says, listen, you've been going from pillar to post with this. You've been following this little trail, okay? But maybe this trail was set. Maybe you're doing exactly what the lion wants you to do, You are not chasing the lion. You're just taking his bait. And that toxin is really starting to take effect. These are risks Batsy wouldn't take, or probably would take with more calculated risks, or making sure that he's prepared for what can come. So Batsy's breaking down. The line's reeling in. The Scarecrow somehow has something to do with the line's motivations. And that is the end of it. Now, it's really interesting. I do like it. The art's really lovely. And the colouring's great too. It's just the lion. I just don't dig him. I really don't dig him at all. I don't really care, that's the thing. I need to care about the villain too, right? You need to care about the villain, not just the heroes here. And I don't really care about him. I need more. I need to know more about the lion to really give one single shit about him. I'm more interested in, the Scarecrow. What's his part in all this and why the lion hates him so much. But it's a good little arc. I love seeing Batgirl in here. I love the way Janín draws her. She looks so cool, especially the motorcycle. But there we have it. Another little sort of team-up issue. We're getting a little bit closer to what's going on. Now, I love Tom Taylor. I've said it many, many, many times. Some people don't, okay? Some people don't. But you know what? I think I'm going to say it. Yeah, I think I'm going to say it. This is not my favourite work of his. He's done so much stronger work elsewhere. I feel this is very much a paint-by-numbers mystery, unless it's going to sort of twist and turn in the next issue. I think this is heading towards a 5 or 6 issue arc for sure, because there needs to be more to this. It's a slow burn, and that's fine. But I need to really, really want to know what's happening next. And I'm kind of not bothered. I'm kind of not bothered, because it does feel like an average mystery. There's a bad guy who wants to release this toxin. The clock is ticking. Batman's got to, get the answers before the clock strikes the final hour. But there we go. It's okay. It is okay. I enjoyed it. I mean, I like having good Batman books, and the Bat title itself is pretty good. So we got two okay Bat books right now, which is better than we had before, because we had pretty much no good Bat books. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say about this. I think I am. There's some nice touches in there, some nice art. Nice to see some team-ups here and there. Beautiful cover. And that's it. The Courage That Kills Part 3. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Do let me know yours. And hopefully we'll see you soon after you've liked the video and hit subscribe. Take care now.